Hello, my name is Jen Johnson. I am the research director here at the Becker County Museum, and today I am going to talk to you about Tillie Anderson. So Tillie Anderson Sjöberg was a Swedish immigrant who actually came in 1875 to Chicago. So she wasn't originally from Becker County, but she does have Becker County ties. And you look here, Tillie Anderson, you see she is actually the champion of the world for the ladies' 6-day bicycle races. Back in 1895, when Tillie started riding the bicycle, this wasn't really a thing that women did. So it's pretty amazing that she just kind of, and you can see here she's not wearing the regular Victorian era getup that women wore. She started doing that as she was practicing with bicycles, and then she realized that she was falling more than she was actually riding a bicycle. So she designed, because she would sew, and she sewed her own clothes, so she actually designed this outfit. And it's kind of interesting because we have a children's book, and when you read it, it talks about how she showed the world her new outfit is right before she started racing. She literally just took off her dress, and here was her getup, and women were actually horrified. So as she started racing, other women started racing, it became a competition, and the newspapers started picking it up. So you can see here, back then there weren't actually a lot of pictures. Pictures took a really long time to develop. So a lot of people did illustrations. And one of the most amazing illustrations, I think, that I've seen about Tillie is actually right here, which was a drawing of her leg. So she did bicycle all the time. She was one of the fastest ones out there, especially for the women. And so an artist came and he actually drew what her leg looked like. Now this, when it got to the newspapers, was just horrifying for a lot of people, because this was not what women were supposed to look like in the Victorian era. Here you can see where it talks about on April 24th, 1897, how fast she is. It says, Miss Tillie Anderson makes a half-mile on her bicycle in 55 seconds, which is pretty amazing. You go here, it says, let me tell you what I think of bicycling. It has done more to emancipate women than anything else in the world. If it gives a woman a feeling of freedom and self-reliance, I stand by and rejoice every time I see a woman ride by on a wheel. The picture of free, Untrammeled Womanhood by Susan B. Anthony, 1896. So just with that quote, you can see that Tillie Anderson Sjöberg, she did marry early in her life, was really just opening the doors for women in the bicycle world and in sports in general. We go over here, and all these items, including the whole display, was donated temporarily by her great niece Alice, who actually goes around and tries to recreate and show people Tillie's legacy. So here is one of her bicycle racing sweatshirts. And here we have, I have gloves on so it's safe to touch. We have her shoes, which you can actually see in this picture of Tillie. And she was on the Thistle team, which was just one of the bicycle racing teams for women. And you can see, which is something I didn't know and I learned from her family and Alice, is that if you look closely on the picture, there's actually these they like hold her feet in place. So she was able to go, we'll do 55 seconds for a half mile. We go here, we have other artifacts. We have pictures of Tillie, and we also have all of Tillie's medals. If you look in this picture here, she is wearing the medals in a sweatshirt similar to this one. And she still actually holds, I'm not sure which one, but she still holds one of the, like, for the fastest time in a race. Like, no woman has broke that yet. When I went with another coworker from the museum to meet with Tillie's family and kind of get a sense of who she was and talk about what we were going to display here at the museum, they had a lot. I mean, they had 6 to 10 scrapbooks just of newspaper clippings from the time, which shows you just how popular she was in the day. There's 2 flags in here. There's a Swedish flag and an American flag because she rode for both countries. And then there's just a bunch of pictures. I mean, they have so many pictures. We don't even, we're limited on space, so we do what we can. And this, I think this is one of my favorite pictures of Tillie, and this is from 1895. So it's around the time she first started, and you can see that her design did change a little bit. In the first one, she's got more of a Victorian era type dress for women, and in the second one, it is definitely more of what was easiest to ride it and probably helped her with her speed. And then going on here, we actually do have reading material. Some we have now at the Becker County Museum, which is this children's book, which is Tillie the Terrible Swede. What kind of title is that for a children's book? And this was given to us by the family to be placed in our gift shop, so you can come to the Becker County Museum and buy this book. It's a really neat book. On Saturday, we actually had another one of Tillie's great nieces, Tammy, who came and read the book to children, and that was pretty neat. Just to take a quick look at it, the illustrations are just fabulous. So it starts off where it talks about how, you know, she came to America and she had, you know, like most immigrants, she had very little. She had her sewing needle, and that's kind of how she supported herself. Let me find one of my favorite pieces here. This is after she started racing, and I'll just read you a little part of the book. Tillie is talking to a friend at this point about, she had already showed, you know, her new little racing getup. So this is what she said. But Tillie was satisfied. Tillie said, "They all think I'm wicked," Tillie told her new friend, a bicycle racer named Philip Schoberg, who she ended up marrying. "No, you can enter a real race," Philip said. "Some women do, you know." So Tillie entered the first century race. That's 100 miles, and broke the women's record by 18 minutes. And then this book, which is an adult book, is Women, the Forgotten Era of Women's Bicycle Racing and Women on the Move. And so this book is not out yet, but the family has told us that they will let us know when this book comes out, and it will be available at the gift shop. And along with Tillie Anderson, it talks about all the other women racers of her time. So another thing the museum has is actually this brochure, and you can pick it up when you see the exhibit or you stop by the museum. And the connection that Tillie had to Becker County itself was that after she retired in 1902, so a few years after she retired, she came to Becker County, and she ended up building a cabin in 1924 on Island Lake, which is 15 minutes to a half hour from Detroit Lakes. I'm still working on my geography a bit. But her family, she's got family that is still there. Her cabin is still there. It's actually her great niece Alice that kind of handles the cabin. She comes regularly, and it, on a side note, is so cool. I saw the cabin. I got to see the bicycle, and Alice, when I met her, she actually has a tea set that was Tillie's, and I was freaking out when I was able to drink tea out of Tillie's tea set. But it's just that, so that's her, that's when she came to Becker County. That's her ties here, is simply that she retired here. She loved it, the area. So this is just a little piece of what we have at the Becker County Museum that you can come and see. Thank you.